I did something at the beginning of the year that honestly felt really refreshing for my coloring hobby. I decided it was time to do a coloring book cleanse. Now, if you're anything like me, over time you start collecting all these coloring books, and it can be a little overwhelming when you see how much you've accumulated. Some of them you might absolutely love. Some of them you've colored in a lot, and some you bought because the artwork was beautiful. And then there's those books that just kind of sit there on the shelf. And I have quite a few of those. I have my favorite books, the ones that are kind of my go-to books. But you know the ones I'm talking about, those books that you bought with ever so good intentions of coloring in them, but for some reason you never reach for them when it's time to color. So I decided to go through all the books that I own. Now, I don't own that many books. I don't know that I even owned 30. Some of you some of you have a lot more books than I do. And I just wanted to go through them and ask myself a very simple question with each one. Do I actually feel excited when I color in this book? If the answer was yes, it stayed. And if the answer was no, it went into a different pile. And it was very interesting when I first started flipping through the books. I realized something. Some of the books I wasn't using anymore were the ones I bought for reasons that had nothing to do with me actually enjoying to color in them. Some of them were those spur of the moment buys that I saw them online. They looked like they were interesting, and before I knew it, they were in my cart and being delivered the next day. Now, some of the books were sort of expensive and most were inexpensive. And I thought, well, if it's that cheap, I might as well go ahead and grab it. I won't find that cheap anymore. And that's a big part of my problem. I see sales and I think, hey, it doesn't cost that much. Let me just add it to my pile. And that can be very damaging when you keep doing that to your pocketbook. There were those books that I bought because they probably were popular. They might have been popular on TikTok or other YouTubers were using them, and I probably didn't really think I would like them, but I went ahead and bought them because they were trending everywhere, and I got curious and just had to pick them up too. But when I flipped through them again during this coloring book cleanse, I realized that I didn't love them as much as I thought I did. Sometimes it could be the theme. Maybe it was the subject that just didn't excite me anymore. And sometimes it could be the art style, because every coloring book author has a different style. And a lot of times it's the paper quality that got me. As I colored more and more over the months, I realized how important that paper quality was. So I had bought a lot of cheap books with cheap paper, and I just didn't enjoy coloring in them. And that's a big one for me, because now if the paper doesn't work with the supplies that I like to use, I don't enjoy coloring, and I won't be picking up that book very much. So those books with that bad paper quality, those went into the let go pile. Now, another thing I realized while doing this cleanse is that sometimes we keep coloring books because we feel like we should use them. And I have that thought in my head sometimes that I bought it, I paid for it, I'm going to have to use it whether I want to or not. And it could be, yeah, I spent a lot of money on it. Or maybe it was bought during that phase that I thought I would love that type of style. But if a book has been sitting on the shelf even for several months and you've never reached for it, it's really just taking up space in your collection. Now, for me, when I have a lot of clutter around, I don't feel like I think well, I don't make the best decisions, and I just feel sort of claustrophobic when I have a lot of things sitting around, like papers and books. And for me, when I clean everything up. I can think better. I come up with better ideas, and I work so much better. And there are those books that I have in my collection that I think, why did I buy them to start with? They weren't exciting. I didn't like the style. And I really don't know why I even bought them. But I want coloring to be relaxing for me, and it's fun. Something I can turn to when I have a little bit of spare time. I don't want to feel pressured. I don't want to feel stressed that I have all these things sitting around. I want to relax and enjoy it. So I made a decision during this cleanse that if a book didn't excite me when I flipped back through it, it was time to let it go. Now, that doesn't mean the book was bad. It just means that it's not the right book for me anymore. Now, maybe you used to love every detailed page, and now you prefer something a little less detailed and more relaxing. Maybe you used to buy certain themes that you really just don't care about anymore, and that's completely normal. So it might sound a little silly, but this was a cleanse that not only helps me get rid of books, but helped me see how I had even changed over the last few months. But it was a nice thing that was happening. And it helped me to see the books that I really loved stand out even more. These were the ones that when I flipped through the pages, I immediately started thinking about colors, maybe about a memory that it brought back to me, and I could picture myself sitting down with pencils and markers and enjoying coloring. Now, those were the books that absolutely stayed. But after keeping the books that I really like the quality of them, I like the things in them that I color, things felt a little bit lighter. Now, when I go to choose a coloring book, I'm surrounded by books that I actually want to color in, and I'm not staring at a bunch of books that I think, I know I won't touch that one today, and I won't have so much hesitation and feeling like I should probably be working on something else. I can just grab a book that really inspires me now to start coloring. So cleansing did help me a little bit as far as just seeing what's on my shelf, and I don't have to dread looking at all these other books that I really just don't enjoy. It helps you to understand your personal coloring style a little bit better too. I know there's some of you that you could have shelves and shelves of coloring books and you probably won't touch a majority of them, and that's fine if that brings you joy. Maybe you realize you prefer certain artists like me. Maybe it's certain themes that you prefer that inspires you, and maybe it's that paper quality that matters more to you than what you originally thought. So all of those things can help guide you on future purchases so you end up with books you truly enjoy using instead of just having a bunch there that you really don't like. Now, letting go of the books doesn't mean that they're going to waste. I've posted several on eBay to resell them because some of them I hadn't even colored in. Maybe a few of them I had just done 2 or 3 pages. So I'm going the route of trying to resell them first. For those that I had colored in a lot, I donated them because there might be someone else out there who really can't afford to buy expensive coloring books. So maybe if they can find them at a thrift store, that will help inspire them and be a wonderful thing for them. So I'm glad I took time to do my coloring book cleanse. It really helped me focus on books that inspire me and made my coloring hobby feel fresh again. I feel excited for some reason, and I don't feel like it kind of brings me down when I look at all the books that I did have. So I'm curious, have any of you ever done a coloring book cleanse? You might be thinking, oh, there's no way I'd get rid of any of my coloring books, and that's fine. Some of you might be thinking, I have too many, and I need to do a cleanse myself. So do you have coloring books sitting on your shelf that you probably won't color in or you just automatically overlook every time you look at your books. Maybe you bought them because they were cheap like me, you were trying to be trendy, or it was just a spur of the moment purchase that you think, why did I do that? Well, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and maybe we can start a little conversation about it. Thanks so much for spending some time with me today, and I will see you in the next coloring conversation video. Happy coloring, everyone.